Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kia, and you're here with me, Questions with the Queen. As you can see, I have a totally different background. It is our title belts. I'm going to go ahead, and before I jump into everything, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I want to thank my husband, who is the cameraman, as well as the person who will be answering or asking the questions. Not answering, that would be me. And to give you the heads up, it is a themed Questions with the Queen, and it is a two-parter. This is the first part, and it's NXT Great American Bash. So with that being said, what we're going to do here today is I'm going to be asked some questions, I'm going to answer them, and I'm going to let you know the reaction that I had at the time of the match. So stay tuned, not just for this, but for also the second part.
Okay, so starting things off, as you stated already, we are talking about the Great American Bash.
Mm-hmm.
A pay-per-view that ran for a number of years in WCW and then ran also with WWE, but has recently kind of disappeared off the map with the exception of, a special SmackDown segment they did a couple of years ago. For the idea of the Great American Bash, especially falling on the July 4th weekend, what do you think of when you think of Great American Bash?
When you hear the question, the Great American Bash, I think of like a party throughout the whole United States, through all 50 states. That's what I think of. Each and every person is partying, they're preparing for the 4th of July, and knowing most people, their 4th of July roll into July 5th. Trust me, I would know. We had fireworks going from the 4th into the 5th. That's what I think it is, a party across all 50 states.
Especially now more than ever when it seems like there's about a million things that is dividing our country. It's an ideal of, even if it's for a single day, let's all celebrate something of importance that, all of us that live in America should be able to get behind, even if there are some subtle differences that, are separating us at the moment.
I mean, I feel like the 4th of July is one of the many holidays that brings everybody together. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are or what you stand for. It brings everybody together. So yeah, that's just my take on it. I love the 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. So with this being said, that's why I love probably this NXT themed one.
Okay, so now we move into the events we saw on night one for the Great American Bash. Opened up in a big way with the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Match to determine the number one contender for Io Shirai's NXT Women's Championship. Yim Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai going head-to-head, ultimately with Tegan Nox being the last woman standing to get the title match. Your thoughts, and did the right person win?
I already know. Y'all know me, and y'all know I'm about the females and the women empowerment. I love all 4 women for different reasons, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. My love for Yim, I feel like I'm her stand, but someone else might say something totally different. I actually enjoyed this match. I had been looking forward to this match for from the moment they actually promoted it was going to be a 4-way with the 4 women in this match. I feel like every woman had something to bring to the table. But of course, I'm going to support my fave, and I'm not going to even sit here and leave it a mystery. I'm going to support Mia all the way. I was pulling for her. I was rooting for her. I get into a phase, I like to call it the Savannah phase. For everybody that knows Savannah, she's part of the Boston Hub Connection. Go look her up. She's great. She's just an excellent person to talk to about wrestling, amongst many other things. But I got into a phase, and again, I call it the Savannah phase, where I fully zone in on one particular match, and no one can speak to me, no one can say anything to me. I don't believe anything else exists outside of that match. So it's pretty much, I was laser-like focused. But I feel Tegan, honestly, I feel like Tegan was an excellent person to actually win the whole entire match. Again, we know her. We know Tegan has had the most amazing comeback story, as well as her former best friend, Dakota Kai, with their knee injuries. And so I feel like that, to me, was it really wasn't a shocker. It was more of, I'm excited, I'm glad for her. I don't even know how to, put it into words, but I'm actually was excited. And yeah, was I disappointed for Mia? Of course I'm disappointed for Mia. I feel, again, as a fan or a stand, I felt like she should have won the whole entire thing, but, it was what it was.
Okay. I stated on yesterday's on the Ring Apron that I was kind of surprised that they went with Tegan. Not to say she's not deserving, but I really thought they'd go with more of a direction of a heel winning, so maybe Candice or Dakota. but it is opening up a fantastic match that's going to come up between Tegan and Io.
I can tell you for a fact, with that being brought up, I feel like if it wasn't Tegan who won the whole entire thing and Mia could not win it, I would feel like Dakota would be more the person I would be pulling for, because honestly, and I'm going to be honest, I feel like Candice still needs a little bit more work. Not saying that she's not good. I feel like there's some improvements she can do. And, you know, for any match that we watch, you know, if you look at her compared to the other women, she's a bit slower and she's a bit hesitant with a lot of the stuff that she does. So, honestly, like you said, a heel role would have been great, and I would have, at that point, I would have pulled for Dakota if I couldn't have Tegan or Mia.
Okay, moving to the next match that was on the night. And it's a term that it seems like we just continuously use on a regular basis, and that is first ever, or, you know, history making are the two that tend to get used on almost a weekly basis, to where it's almost just commonplace in NXT. But we had the first ever NXT strap match, which was between Undisputed Era's Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis, after Roderick ducked Dexter a couple of weeks ago in a normal one-on-one match after getting locked in the trunk by Lumis, finally having to compete in a strap match. Lumis going over Strong in this match, but ultimately, you know, I wouldn't say it's going to be the greatest match on the card, but certainly was something if you enjoy, you know, a physical, brute beat-down type of match.
And you know how much I do.
So again, same question, you know, your thoughts on the match, and did the right person win?
I honestly, I do love the Undisputed Era. It took me a minute to get behind them, but I love them. I am an Adam Cole fan, not as much as my sister Savannah, but with that being said, I love Dexter Lumis. I know I'm going to be in the least popular vote for that, but I am a big fan of Dexter Lumis. I love his work. I love what he does. I believe, you know, there really isn't one person like him. Now, when it says, you know, Roderick Strong, I like the fact that he overcame the whole trunk thing. I like the fact that he actually got in there. And as much as he tried to run and tried to play it off that, you know, he was afraid of Dexter Lumis, I think somewhere back in his mind, I think it's a you kind of have to face your demon type thing. So, with that being said, I am one for brutality. You know, I love the tables, the ladders, the chairs, the kendo sticks, and this one being a strap match, I've seen it before done, but to have it done in NXT, to me, I feel like it was the perfect thing to be able to keep a Roderick where he was and to have to fight the demon that was standing in front of him, which is Dexter Lumis. Do I feel the right person won? Yes, I do. I feel Dexter Lumis, I believe he deserved this win for several reasons. One, he had been, you know, playing in, you know, Roderick Strong's head for the last several weeks. Two, I don't see who else better to actually have this match with Roderick Strong besides Dexter Lumis. And three, I'm not going to even sit here and, you know, BS. I was excited when he won. I mean, like, when I say excited, I literally was jumping around the living room, and, like, both my husband and my son were looking at me like I was crazy. More than usual, just saying.
So moving into our next one, a handicap match having Rhea Ripley facing off against Aaliyah and Robert Stone in a match where Rhea would have to join the Robert Stone brand if she lost. This one may be more for humor purposes than for an actual match, but Rhea ends up getting the victory, you know, basically tapping out both Aaliyah and Robert Strong at the exact same time, you know, once again just muscling over them. This one's not necessarily your thoughts for the match, but in your opinion, which female wrestler would benefit the most from joining the Robert Stone brand?
Between the two women that were in the match, or
period. Any female on the roster, who would benefit the most from joining Robert Stone?
Okay, first of all, I would say Aaliyah.
Well, Aaliyah's already there.
As much as I would hate to say it, I would have to say Chelsea Green. I feel like when she was with Robert Stone, she was getting a lot of being seen, being heard, getting to be able to do her own thing, and, you know, having control of it, but at the same time having to, you know, that input with Robert Stone. So honestly, I would like to see Chelsea Green go back to it, but I understand why she left. Who else would benefit? He tried to get Shotzi to do it, but I can't with a girl that has that much heart and that much spirit and that much fight. I can't see Shotzi being part of that. So honestly, I'd like to see Chelsea Green go back to the Robert Stone brand. But that's just me, and I really can't see any other woman beside them two.
And then we move to the main event of that night, which was the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai and one half of the Women's Tag Champion Sasha Banks. Banks returning back to the ring in her classic NXT style, bringing out the car, bringing the dog, Ryu coming out ringside, of course, Bayley. An unexpected, certainly not an unwelcome appearance from Asuka, ultimately resulting with Io getting the win over Sasha in an absolute dream match. You've got about 4 minutes left in this episode. Basically, open question. Run your thoughts on everything about this, because we could give 15 just to this one alone.
Okay, so y'all know I love Sasha, but not as much as my other sister Haley, but I'm sitting right behind her. I feel like Sasha is boss. That's why she's the blueprint, the standard. Sasha 3 shows, I feel like she slayed. She always slays. I feel like Bayley being her best friend was a good input. And her dog Ryu is so cute. I can't even. My girl Io, y'all know I pulled for her to win the title, and she finally did, y'all. I can't even explain how much I was excited for that. And then on top of that, to have my girl Asuka, oh my God, come out. She was out of nowhere. She is a ninja. I mean, I don't know what she's saying, but I know she's a ninja, and I know to actually have that match back and forth, it was awesome. I loved it. To see the input that Bayley had in it, just to say, oh, okay, so Bayley's getting her input into the match, but I think Asuka pretty much squared it up and saying, it's not going to work like that as much as y'all want it to. I'm here, and the fact that she had that green mist, I did not expect that. I was surprised, and I loved it, and I feel like, honestly, Io should have done a turn of events by going to Raw and kind of helping Asuka. But with that being said, this is the match I was looking forward to most outside of the Fatal 4-Way. That's how I'm going to run it. I'm not going to even say no more. I'm not going to say no less. I loved it. I love the women. I'm about female empowerment. And with that being said, that is all for my questions for part 1 of the Great American Bash NXT. If you tune in next week, you will see part 2 for Great American Bash. Or excuse me, not next week, my bad. If you tune in Sunday, with it being a double feature, you will see part 2 of Great American Bash. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in to watch me, everybody that supports me. I want to thank you to my husband, who actually, has set everything up. Thank you, Steve, who is also the question guy. With that being said, please, everybody, stay safe, stay in, stay out of the streets as much as possible, away from the beaches, sanitize, wash your hands, wear your mask properly, and do what you have to do so we can get back into these arenas. With that being said, love you guys. Bye.